Guys, welcome back to Automotive Projects. Today we're going to be replacing the valve cover gasket on our 2009 Honda Civic LX. Now the same thing for the 2006 to 2014, I believe, but our valve cover gasket has failed on this car. What that means is that the gasket is no longer flexible and they stiffen up, which causes oil to leak out. Today we're going to be showing you how to replace that valve cover gasket with this a few simple tools and your ability to want to do it. So let me show you how simple it is. Let's go. All right, guys, so very quickly, we've replaced the valve cover gasket before on a Honda Civic like this. Now, my recommendation is to remove the cowl in the back. Is this center piece right here. It'll give you a lot more free access to the back end of it and the back bolts, as opposed to having to use this small little 2.5-inch gap space to be working. You're gonna have a clip right here, here. Gently grab on both sides and pull up. You just gotta watch out for this hose right here and let it rest on the side. All right, we're gonna start by removing the negative terminal on the battery. That way there's no type of electrical short or of any sort. So now I'm gonna go ahead and remove the valve cover. It's got 2 plastic screws on the top to simply twist and pull. So just twist and pull. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove the clips on these coil packs. Make sure you don't break it, because that's gonna be a problem. Right there, as soon as you hear the snap, push up, super simple. So now you got those coil pack connectors free, and there you have it, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna then take off the bolts to this electrical wire rail. Right there's got 1 bolt here, 1 bolt here. All right, so in order to remove it, you're gonna have to just slide it over to your right-hand side, just like that. It's got a clip right here. Make sure you don't start pulling up. So we're just gonna push this over to the side. Now we're gonna unhinge this tab right here, unhinge it. All right, now we're gonna proceed to remove the coil packs. We're gonna remove all 4 coil packs. And if you want, you can go ahead and number your coil packs. That way you can put them exactly in the same order that you removed them. Now, as silly as this may sound, a lot of people, they're very specific about the same way they took it off is the same way to put it back on. So this is a way to help you guys out. All right, and just pull straight up, straight up. Now these spark plugs have already been replaced, so I'm not gonna pull those things out. But just be very careful, because these coil packs sometimes do break. All right, now to prevent any dust particles from going into the spark plug tunnel, I'm gonna go ahead and just put a piece of tape here. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover that. Yeehaw! You don't have to do this, but I'm just doing it just to take extra precaution. Okay, so in order to get to the back bolts of the valve cover, you're gonna have a couple of 10mm bolts that you gotta get to. Now that I will be using a ratchet for, loosening them up, and just go ahead and use your fingers, take them off really quick. Just 2 bolts. That way you can have access to the back of the valve cover bolts. These 2 bolts are bolted to the back of the valve covers. In order to kind of advance it and make this a lot easier to get to the back of the valve cover bolts, I would recommend to remove the cowl plate. So the cowl plate is this plate right here. So it's held on by a couple of 10s here, here in the back, right here in the middle, 12mm bolts here. If you guys take those off, it takes about 30 seconds and it'll save you a bunch of time with torquing and tightening. So using a 10 and a 12mm bolt, DeWalt. All right, so once you remove all those bolts, you just simply bring it up. And just like that, bam, 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 right there. So just set that to the side. And now look how much more clearance you have. So you can actually, see your valve cover bolts here, here, and here, and look how easy you can access them, and you can bring your sockets straight up without any hesitation. So I recommend you take the extra 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and just remove that cowl plate. And yeah, let's continue doing the valve cover. All right, so we have this hose right here that we have to loosen up. So now we're here in the back, and we're gonna go ahead and remove this little plastic cap here. All you do is just push up, and it's gonna have some notches. You can see right there, it's gonna have these little notches right there, and they go into the rubber hose right there. So you just remove this, set it to the side, and you have your fuel injector connectors. Now, some people don't remove them. You can if you want to, but you can see how it's very close to the bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove them. We're just gonna grip it a little bit and just kind of move it, wiggle it, and it should come up very easily, just like that. Wiggle it. Now all four of the connectors are loose and out of your way. Remove the solenoid right here, and bam, look at that. You got all that clearance now. Nothing, no dirt particles are falling into your valve cover once you remove it out. And you don't have to do this. You can definitely get away with keeping all that connected, but I just want to show you how much easier it is when you go just a couple extra 30 seconds, a minute into your job to make sure that you have as much clearance as possible. So let's go ahead and remove this valve cover. You should have 8 bolts on the valve cover, so you have 1 here, 2 down here. So typically you have a bolt, valve cover bolt across the other one. So if you have 1 here, that means you're gonna have 1 here. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and remove the valve cover gasket. We're gonna be using a 10mm to remove it. So right there, we got 1. I'm just gonna break them loose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna grab my D-walt and just bring them all up fast. Bam. Now you can go ahead and pull all your bolts out. There's none that are bigger than the other, so you can go ahead and pull them all out and set them to the side. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and bring up the oil dipstick and just set it over to the side. We're gonna go ahead and just use this corner right here to pry something in there and lift up. Now you shouldn't have to do very much force, so I'm just gonna put it in there and just kind of start prying, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, and there it is. It's coming off very easy, very easy. Remove that hose and bring it up just like that. Bam, bam, bam. We just removed the valve cover. There it is. It looks pretty good. The gasket, not so much. All right, so we got some parts cleaner and try to clean around the areas. It's plastic, so it's real simple to clean. Right there. Let's go ahead and clean that. We'll try to get inside. To clean as much of the oil as we can. Thankfully, it doesn't have a lot. Okay, so this is the old one. Let me show you how brittle this thing was. You can tell. Once it dry up, look how cracked this thing was, and this is why we had the leak that we did. So we're gonna go ahead and get this new one back on. All right, so it should be very simple. We have the new one here. We just kind of match it up to the same pattern. It should be going in nice and tight. Now, of course, you guys have the preference of cleaning all your inside with some brake cleaner. A lot of people use brake cleaner. Mine wasn't that dirty, but I did wipe it down. A lot of the excess little oil that was left in. So let's go ahead and toss this thing back on. Okay, so before you put the valve cover gasket back on, it's gonna have some RTV, some right here in this corner. You're gonna have some right here in this corner, and let's go to remove it. Okay, so we're gonna be using a plastic blade, and we're just gonna clean off the sides very gently. This Honda Civic, thank the Lord that it doesn't have very much to clean. Very gentle. Make sure that you push away the dirt away from the actual engine. Like I said, this thing is super clean. Now we're gonna go ahead and clean all around the area where the valve cover gasket is gonna be, especially the area where we're gonna put a little bit of RTV right here, which is this corner right here, these gapping and that gapping. RTV here on this corner. Remember, you don't need a whole lot. And then we're gonna put some here on this corner. We're gonna go ahead and put the valve cover on. Here we go. Here we go. This is already getting in my way. Nice and tight. All right, so it's seated there where it needs to be. So we're gonna go ahead and put our bolts back on. We're gonna hand tighten our bolts. I'm gonna use my D-walt just to slowly get the bolt down, all the way down. Save you some time. So all the bolts are flushed in there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten it up by hand. Okay, so when you're torquing it, there's a couple ways to torque it. Some people, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As long as you're torquing it evenly, I think that you won't have an issue with it. I've really never had an issue, so I'm gonna go ahead and torque it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're gonna wanna torque it around 8 pounds of foot torque. There you go, snap. Okay, so now that we've gone ahead and torqued the valve cover, let's go ahead and put our engine back together. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and connect fuel injectors. Plate right here in the back. Here, make sure all your connectors are plugged in. Slide this back in. I'm gonna put the 2 bolts here. So basically you're repeating the whole process in reverse. I'm gonna slowly just turn it up, slow impact. You gotta be careful because it is plastic, but I've been doing it for a while, so kind of got the gist of it. So just the same way we pulled them off, it's the same way we're gonna put them back in. Let's hand tighten them first. There you go. Very, very light torque. Like I said, I'm barely putting any pressure on there. And then I'm gonna go back and just snug it. There you go, snug it, snug it, snug it. You wanna over tighten, that's for sure. Let's double check our work. Everything seems to be good. All right, let's grab our little Honda plate. And once you have it in there position, all you gotta do is do one little turn and vaya, yeah. Ahí está. We're gonna go ahead and put our dipstick in there. We sure did clean it up. Now that it's in there, we're gonna go ahead and put the cowl back plate on there, just like that. And just like that, we replaced the valve cover gasket on our 2009 Honda Civic LX. It was super simple, very straightforward. Now we don't have any leaks. I usually take 24 to 48 hours to let the valve cover sit without cranking it up. That way the RTV can dry up properly, and then we'll take it for a test drive, make sure there's no leaks, and your driveway will thank you for it. As always, thank you guys for watching our videos. If this video was of any help to you, go and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification for all the videos and content that is coming. Thank you guys for loving automotive projects and our videos, and we'll see you on the next one. Let's go.